Okay, so botanically, how would you group these fruits? What about an apple? What group do apples go in? Does anybody remember? See if you remember what group they go in. They're all angiosperms, but it starts with a P. Who can remember? Oh, I'm getting blanks. Very close, Arthur. Not quite, Noel. A peepo is a watermelon. I'll just give that one to you. The watermelon's a peepo. But pome, very good. An apple is a pome. Good. Watermelon's a peepo. What about an almond? What's an almond? Anybody remember? Almonds are in the same group as peaches. Hard to remember, right? Yeah, they're not a nut. Good. It's a fruit. It's a drupe. Very good, Noelle. It's a drupe. What about a peanut? What is a peanut? Am I frozen? Sometimes my camera gets goofy. Starts with a B? Not quite. It starts with an L. Peanuts start with an L. Legume. Very good. Very good. And what about a pecan? Pecan is a true nut. Exactly, Arthur. Good job, Micah, Noelle. Good job. Okay, what about a spinach leaf? Good job, Dakota. That was kind of a trick question. That's not a seed at all, is it? It's not a fruit. Spinach is a leaf. Very good. Very good. Okay, so you guys see this interesting picture of the world here. It's very green, isn't it? Our world is green around us, and we're going to talk about why it's green. So what you do need is to get your notes. If you don't have them already, go ahead and get your notes. I know, wouldn't that be funny, Angie, if we could like zoom out and see that? Not quite. It's a little too small to be our world. So go ahead and get your notes. The slides are also there on that file. It says Files 12, Week 8 Notes. It's both the PDF and the document, the Word document. Yay, Arthur, you have your notes handy. Good deal. All right, so you want to follow along with me. Green plants make food for most every living animal and all humans. Green plants are super, super important. So energy is generated through a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photo, if we take that word and break it apart, photo means light, and synthesis means putting together. So basically the plant is putting together light, and it's putting it together with some other things, and we're going to talk about that. But the energy that is made for that plant is through photosynthesis. Okay, are you ready to zoom in to those microscopic places where the molecules are broken down and chemical exchanges are made to make this process happening? Make a process happen. Here it goes. Ready? Okay, you got to break it down. This is what the plant is doing. I love my little sugar bowl there. It's kind of hilarious. So basically, photosynthesis is a process that turns light into sugar. And it's not even magic. It turns light into sugar. Photosynthesis turns light into sugar. How on earth can it take light and then turn it into sugar? It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. These plants have the ability to take that light that they bring in and turn it right into sugar. Very good, Emma. Exactly. The light from the sun provides solar energy. And we're actually going to talk about that. What is happening when that light is shining in, zooming into that plant? What's happening? That solar energy has to be converted into chemical energy. And of course, the chemical energy is what? Sugar, exactly. Sugar, sugar, sugar. So every living thing is made up of cells, right? We all know that. Every living thing is made up of cells, and they are the basic building block of life. Well, in a plant, we have something called chloroplasts, and the chloroplasts are found inside the plant cell. They are responsible for the green color that's in plants. Now, I kind of want to look at some cells here with you guys. I have an onion. I have a piece of an onion, and we're going to look at a plant cell as an onion. Obviously, this isn't the leaf of the onion. It's going to be the onion itself, but I also have a leaf from a house plant, and we'll kind of look at that under our microscope. But what I want to do, first of all, before we look at chloroplasts, I'm going to look at what an onion, the thin layer of an onion. If I were to cut, I'm cutting a piece of onion here, and it smells strong like most onions do, but on the onion, between the sections, there's kind of a thin layer, and I can pull that apart. Now, because an onion is basically clear when you pull that thin layer off, I have to use food coloring in order to be able to see what's going on in that layer. So I'm going to try to peel that off a little bit if I can. See if it will let me. Peel it off, and then I'm going to put this under the microscope. In fact, let me go ahead and adjust my camera. Okay, now let me zoom in a little better. Focus, I mean. Okay, who can see that? Can you guys see that okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of food coloring, because see how it's clear? Okay, you don't have to label the picture. No, sorry. I'm obviously occupied doing my little slide here, my microscopic slide. Okay, so I'm getting my food coloring here ready, and I'm going to put a little bit of green food coloring on my specimen. There's a little bit of water, or air, I mean, trapped underneath. So I'm going to, coming into focus. All right. Now, if I can find good area. Oh, what do we see? I see it. Do you all see what I see? You think it's a vein? What do you see? What does it look like? See if I can zoom to another area, maybe even focus it a little better here. Bubbles? I see the bubbles, but who sees those little, it's almost like a lines, look like little boxes almost. Anybody see it? My camera keeps being goofy. Sort of, kind of. Okay, let me see if I can point to it. It's kind of hard to get my thing in there. Right up in there. Do you see those little lines? They're almost like boxes. Those are cells. Those are cells. Those are the cells, and you can almost see the edges of them. But those are onion cells. My camera keeps being silly. Those are onion cells. Awesome, right? Looks like an onion under a microscope. Yes, because it is. Exactly. Basically, on, like, look on the notes. Do you see my pointer? So that's the cell wall that's kind of protecting it. And deep inside of that cell would be all the different organelles inside the cell. Okay? Very cool, very cool. So I'm going to, we'll have the ability to take in light, right? So the sunlight is shining in into this plant's leaf. And what happens is it's going to absorb every single color except green. And that's why our eyes, it bounces off and we see green. We're seeing green because it's taking in all the other colors. Okay? Yeah, exactly, Arthur. He knows it. They could have orange, they could have brown, they could have, you know, red. They could have all those colors in them, but we can't tell because that plant is absorbing in, the chlorophyll is absorbing in all the light colors, and all we're seeing is green. That's why it bounces off and we see green. Isn't that fascinating? So every other light color absorbed are used to excite the molecules. So there's molecules, those chloroplasts, the little chlorophyll thingies inside there, those little coins, are actually excited. They get excited, which means they move around. They bump around and they move around and they are activated to do their job. First of all, we have energy conversion. That's capturing the sun's energy. Okay, that's when the light is coming in and the plant is capturing it. It's taking it and holding it. It's capturing it. That's called a light-dependent reaction. Hi, sun. That's right. Okay, you need me to go back? There you go. Absorbs and excite. That's what you need, Arthur. Absorbs and excite. All right. The second thing, the second stage of photosynthesis, so the first one is taking in the light. The second stage is carbon dioxide fixation, okay? And that's just a fancy way to say that it's making food from the energy that it captured. It took in all that light, it captured it. Now it's going to make this process of carbon dioxide fixation in order for it to make the food. And that's a light independent reaction. Is that light independent? It's the part that you don't need light to do it. The carbon, that molecule that we talked about, the C molecule, is inorganic, which means it's not alive. Carbon is one of those molecules that comes out of the earth. It's not alive, okay? During photosynthesis, the carbon is fixed into the organic material or the oxygen that is alive, and it makes it a fixed carbon, okay? But we do. And then, like, when we say we breathe out the waste, we breathe out stuff we don't need, it's actually we're breathing out a byproduct. That's carbon dioxide. We don't need it, but the plants do. And so it's this beautiful exchange between us and plants. So when you walk up to a plant and you breathe into it, you're actually helping it because you're breathing out the carbon dioxide it needs, and it's giving off the oxygen that you need.